Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Hugo, and today we're going to see how can we make money from the market crash. And I'm going to do some analysis on what's going to be the best stocks for this week, and as well some market analysis. So stay around. So first of all, before we go how to make money, there's going to be two options. One is going to be the dollar averaging, which I'm going to explain you, and also another technique that I'm using, which contains two ETFs, which is the SQQQ and the TQQQ. So let's have a look. So on the dollar cost averaging, what I do, as I've done, and I implement this strategy on my portfolio here on the Alibaba, which is the ticker 9988HK. They have been decreasing in the past few years for a long time, and as you can see, I have been buying every single time that the stock comes down, always with the same value, around 0.36% of my total portfolio, which is quite low, and in terms of the overall doesn't do more than 5%. And as soon as a stock gets more than 5%, I'll try to sell or try to get rid of the stock if they go so negative. In this case, Alibaba doesn't do more than 5% of my entire portfolio, and therefore I'm still investing, or in this case doing some cost dollar averaging. So as soon as the stock reach another new bottom, I buy, and then I try to get some value from there. So here I bought on the latest bottom, which was at 109, and now it's at 118, and the stock tends to go up. Of course, at the moment you are seeing a really huge market correction. This all went down, but I think this stock will go up in the next upcoming years as soon as the market goes back, and Alibaba as well. Alibaba and others like Google and Microsoft, etc., which you're going to see, they went down quite a lot. But this has external factors of the Chinese market, which is the geopolitical situation that they are in, which is the Chinese and all the cuts that the US want to do on China. And beside the fact that we may have invasion in Ukraine, and that will affect our the stock market as well. The other option that I have as well to fight this downtrend and to increase a bit my overall portfolio is by buying and selling SQQ and TQQ. SQQ is a short on the Nasdaq, so we have a quite similar ETF, which is the QQQ, which basically it's the index of the Nasdaq. When the market has a decline tendency, this stock has increased tendency, the SQQQ. The other one is going to be TQQQ, which is exactly the opposite. So when the market goes down, it goes down, but when the market goes up, it goes up. Since the stock has some leverage, what's going to happen? The stock, when it goes down, goes 3 times down. When it goes up, goes 3 times up. So it's a stock that we need to buy when the market is really down, or when you're expecting some dip. What I've been doing, this is not a great example that I've shown here on the screenshot, but I do have SQQ. When the market went down a few days ago, actually on Thursday when the market went down, I bought SQQ and I've done a profit of 1.45%. I could be doing more, but I saw the curve starting to switch, so I decided to buy, but then they went up more towards the end of the closing bell. The TQQ, it's also the same thing here. Those transactions, I have it here with a 0.98%, and here at 10.67%, and here the SQQQ again with 1.88%. This is not all profit. I did have as well some losses on SQQ, and I'm going to show you more towards at the end of the video. But in the overall, between the profit and loss that I had with SQQQ and TQQQ, in the overall, it's going to be around 10%, which I had a loss of SQQQ, which is not showing here on the graph. And here it's where you can see that I've made a profit. So here on the 17th, I did bought not exactly when the market opened. That's going to be a big mistake, because if you buy at the market open, you could see the stock buying around really down or really high, and you don't want that. So that's why, and the intention is to put some a trade at a specific price. In this case, they are quite volatile at the moment, and when I bought the stock, when I've done this 10% was around here. When I bought on the 17th, bear in mind that I never buy when the market's open, right in a few minutes, in the next few minutes. I'll take a little bit of 15 minutes or 30 minutes to see what is the trend of the market, if it's going to be up or down. Of course, I do see as well the pre-markets. The pre-markets will give me some view of what's going to be the tendency of the market, but we shouldn't put any orders at the market open, because that can be quite risky. So I can think that I'm going to buy here, and then it goes like 5% more. It goes like 5 points more or less. So the example that I've given here on the 17th, I bought around the 40s. I've left the market open a bit, and then the stock went up, and here was when I sold, when the market had a downtrend, which I thought that was quite huge here, this gap here. So the read that I have from the RSI and also the MACD, I thought this going to down, so was when I sold. I was fine with that profit, but I could do more. But anyway, this is a risk that you need to cut your losses, and you need to as well not be too greedy. So for example, what's going to happen on Monday, I'm not going to put any order on the SQQQ or the TQQQ. As an overview, we see that the market is quite down, and we're going to see this as well on the analysis that I'm going to do on the SP500, which probably I'm going to get in more detail more towards the end of the video. Here we can see that probably the tendency is going to be negative again, so probably I'm going to leave a bit of a gap of around 30 minutes or 15 minutes to see what is the position that the market is going to open, and then I'll open a position with a specific price tag, and it could be a SQQQ or a TQQ depending on the performance of the market for that day. Bear in mind that I only use SQQQ as a day trade and TQQQ as a long for medium or long period. So I do have TQQQ on my portfolio, which I tend to sell more towards at the end of the year, probably August, November, depends when the market reach their peak. In this case, I use SQQQ to counterbalance those trends. When the markets go down, I'll try to buy SQQQ and then sell, or in the same day or right in the next day. Okay, now let's have a look into the best stocks for this week. So for this week, we're going to have GlaxoSmithKline PLC with the ticker GSK.L, which is one of the stocks that I have on my portfolio for a long time. They pay a dividend yield of 5.06%. Bear in mind, this is a UK stock, so it doesn't pay the 30% as you're going to pay in certain stocks. One more thing that, for example, you may have on your portfolio, Energy Transfer and others, all the stocks that are on US market, they pay not 30 but 37%, and you need to check that. When you download your statement from the eToro, you could see how much you're going to pay per each stock. So bear in mind, there are some stocks that don't pay 30%, they pay actually much more, but that's not the case for this one. In terms of payments, they pay quarterly, February, May, August, and November. They are undervalued in 64.8%, and the ex-dividend date is going to be on the 24th of February. The financial health is a B, with around 18 billion in assets and around 23 billion in liabilities. Bear in mind, this liabilities is due to the fact that they invested a lot with COVID, so that's why they have a lot of investment in R&D. The market sentiment, we still have an hold, and the future growth, it's 11.1%. So it's a really nice stock to have on your portfolio. The past performance 26.2%. So we have all the tendency to see some growth performance on this stock. They went quite down in the past week, as you can see in the graph. All the pharmaceutical sector was affected, especially the biotech. But we're going to see in more detail which sector was affected on the heat map. At the stocks for this week that pay monthly, we already mentioned this several times on my videos. You can check in more detail this performance of the stocks. So we're going to have the PSEC Prospect Capital Corp with a dividend yield of 8.67%. All those stocks had increased a lot because they went quite down. So there's a difference now for the EPS quite higher than it's before. The earnings per share, it's much higher than it was before because of the stocks went lower. Therefore, the dividend yield is higher. The EPR Properties has a dividend yield of 6.44%. The ex-dividend is going to be on the 25th of February. I forgot to mention the PSEC, which is going to be on the 23rd. We're not going to have enough time for this one, but you're going to have time for the EPR. And the AGNC Investments Corp also has a dividend yield of 10.71%. This is one of the stocks that I have on my portfolio with the higher dividend yields. I have another one which is ARR with almost 13%, and we have another one with almost 11%, which I quite don't recall, but this is one of the top highest. It's in the top 3 actually, and the ex-dividend is going to be on the 25th of February, so you're going to have plenty of time to buy this one. This week markets, as you see, the market went down on the SP500 around minus 1.54%, the Nasdaq 1.69%, overall was around 1.8, 1.9. The US market that went down. We have here as well Dow Jones with a 1.88%. The European market was the only that was positive this week, and you have UK and Chinese stock, with Chinese stock being affected a lot with a decrease of 2.49%. That's why my portfolio was quite affected this week as well, and UK with minus 0.92%. This week in terms of sectors, we don't have any sector that was positive. We have a big impact on the financial sector and on the healthcare sector. That's why the GlaxoSmithKline went down quite a lot. And here you can see as well on the IBB with the Nasdaq Biotechnology, which went down minus 3.97%, being impacted in this group is Pfizer, GlaxoSmithKline, and other companies is on these sectors. The energy sector went quite down as well. So therefore, BP, British Petroleum, actually, there was a sell-off on British Petroleum, I believe, on the BP, and Energy Transfer were quite affected. Those are some kind of examples that I can give you. Oh, as well, Shell and Exxon. And Cathy Woods from ARK Invest actually has made some investments here on some mobile. She invested a little bit more, and also on Tesla, but that's her favorite. So we have here a big investments now and buy some stocks on the dip, which I'm trying to do the same thing, trying to do some investments on these stocks when they are in dip, so we can buy cheaper. And here we have the stocks heat map, with Microsoft being quite affected, Google and Facebook. Facebook is being beat by a few weeks now because of the performance they've shown was quite awful. In terms of the financial sector, we are seeing here quite a big impact, especially on the British Hathaway. They went up around almost 2 points in the past week, and they now went back to 1.36%. We have here the Amazon with an impact of 0.43%, and we have here the consumer non-durables with Nike, PM, etc., Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, and Walmart, which are the companies, which means that we have people still buying the goods. And here it's one of the examples with Walmart going up quite a lot as well. So people are starting to consume, and we may see increase of the stocks in the next upcoming weeks, hopefully. So now let's have a look into the SP500 and the Bitcoin. In terms of the SP500, we're going to see a decline for the next week. As you can see here, we have the RSI still showing a down momentum for the next week. We may hit the 3,500 euros as the next support. We're still a bit far from the moving average, which is going to be the 46,000, although we are starting to see here a consolidation, which is good, but we still may see a fall of around 9.77%. But this movement here is good because we're seeing here previous consolidations on the past, and this may be a positive sign. In terms of the Bitcoin, we may see a rise of 3,700 to 5,900 pips with limited upsides, meaning that this is not going to be positive We may have something like this as we've seen in the past in December. So first we need some confirmation here if this is not going to happen the same thing as here. Therefore, I'm looking more to reach the 39,000 and actually the 45,000. Bear in mind that the market is going to be quite volatile the next upcoming week, so we may see downtrends. This may not be the reality for at least for the entire week until we have something in concrete from United States and Ukraine and Russia. Until then, the market is going to be quite volatile, especially the energy sector, which is the main factor of this all conflict. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the tips for this week. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like. Once again, if you want me to do some analysis on other stocks, please let me know on the comments. I could have a look and that could be the subject for the next video. Once again, guys, thank you, cheers, and see you next week.